top accurate global news update. I am Abiodun Mohammed. Ukraine Special Forces said that the commander of Russia's Black Sea Fleet, Admiral Viktor Sokolov, and 33 other officers were killed in a Ukrainian missile attack on the fleet's headquarters in the Crimean port of Sevastopol last week. Ukraine's claim to have killed one of Russia's most senior Navy officers came as Russian authorities said on Monday that air defense systems had repelled another Ukrainian missile attack on Sevastopol in the Russia-annexed Crimean Peninsula. Russian air defense units downed a missile near the Belbek military airfield, the Moscow-installed governor of Sevastopol, Mikhail Razvozayev, said on the Telegram messaging app late on Monday. Earlier, Ukraine Special Forces said that Friday's attack on the Black Sea Fleet headquarters in Sevastopol was aimed at a meeting of the Russian Navy's leadership. While the report did not name Sokolov, Anton Gerashenko, advisor to Ukraine's Minister of Internal Affairs, posted the admiral's name and a photo on social media. Russia's defense ministry had yet to respond to requests for comment regarding Ukraine's claims of killing Sokolov. Hungry and exhausted Armenian families jammed roads to flee homes in the defeated breakaway enclave of Nagorno-Karabakh, while the United States called on Azerbaijan to protect civilians and let in aid. The Armenians of Karabakh, part of Azerbaijan, beyond Baku's control since the dissolution of the Soviet Union, began fleeing this week after their forces were routed in a lightning military operation by Azerbaijan's military. At least 13,550 of the 120,000 ethnic Armenians who called Nagorno-Karabakh home arrived in Armenia on the first day of the exodus, with hundreds of cars and buses crammed with belongings snaking down the mountain road out of Azerbaijan. Some fled packed into the back of open-topped trucks, others on tractors. Grandmother of four, Narin Shakarian, arrived in her son-in-law's old car with 6 people packed inside. The 77 kilometers drive had taken 24 hours, she said. They had had no food. As Armenians rushed to leave the Karabakh capital, known as Stepanakert by Armenia and Kankendi by Azerbaijan, few stations were overwhelmed by panic buying. The authorities there said at least 20 people were killed and 290 injured in a massive blaze when a fuel storage facility blew up on Monday. Senior diplomats from South Korea, China, and Japan agreed on Tuesday that their countries' leaders would meet at the earliest convenient time, Seoul's foreign ministry said after a rare meeting aimed at kickstarting trilateral exchanges. The three countries had agreed to hold a summit every year starting in 2008 to foster regional cooperation, but that initiative has been frayed by bilateral feuds and the COVID-19 pandemic. The last summit was in 2019. Seoul's foreign ministry said in a statement that specific dates remained under discussion and that the country's foreign ministers would meet in a couple of months. South Korea is this year's host for three-way meetings and has proposed a summit in late December. Japanese broadcaster TBS reported Japan's foreign minister Yoko Kamikawa said the three countries share the need to restart high-level talks, including summit, quote, as soon as possible. The latest meeting was seen partly intended to assuage Beijing's concerns over the two US allies tightening cooperation after Seoul and Tokyo agreed this year to end legal, diplomatic, and trade disputes over issues dating to Japan's 1910-45 occupation of Korea. The Republican-controlled House of Representatives is due to try to advance steep spending cuts this week that stand no chance of becoming law and could force a partial shutdown of the US government by next Sunday. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy sought to avoid that scenario when he hammered out a spending agreement with Democratic President Joe Biden this spring, but some members of his own party have threatened to depose him if he does not support steeper cuts that are sure to be rejected by the Democratic-controlled Senate. Hundreds of thousands of federal workers will be followed, and a wide range of services, from financial oversight to medical research, will be suspended if Congress does not provide funding for the new fiscal year that starts October 1st. Congress typically misses that deadline and passes stopgap spending bills to avoid disruption while they finish their work, but McCarthy has been unable so far to muster support for a temporary spending extension as a group of hardline Republicans have refused to go along. Republicans control the House by a narrow 221 to 212 majority and have few votes to spare. Canadian Sikhs have staged protests outside India's diplomatic missions a week after Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said there may be a link between New Delhi and the killing of a Sikh separatist advocate in British Columbia. Trudeau, a week ago, stood in Parliament to say that domestic intelligence agencies were actively pursuing credible allegations tying New Delhi's agents to the shooting of Canadian citizen Adip Singh Nijjar, aged 45, in June. About 100 protesters in Toronto on Monday burned an Indian flag and struck a cardboard cutout of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi with a shoe. About 200 protesters also gathered outside the Vancouver consulate. In Ottawa, fewer than 100 people gathered in front of the Indian High Commissioner's office and waved yellow flags marked with the word Khalistan, a reference to their support for making an independent state for Sikhs in India's Punjab region, a cause Ninja campaigned for. Canada is home to about 770,000 Sikhs, the highest population of Sikhs outside their home state of Punjab, and in recent years, many demonstrations there have irked India. That is the size of top accolade global news updates. You can follow us on our social media platforms as displayed on your screen. Happy Tuesday!